But I don't know about the cash burn in new companies and all of that and stuff. There's definitely a lot of calorie burn given the sort of walking that takes place in places like these. But let's talk about cash burn itself. Should we say that incrementally now all the burn has stopped and now whatever business comes in will be cash flow accretive for you?
Yeah, I think if you look at our history of cash usage over time, a bulk of it is shifted away from funding operating losses, which we had to do when we started the network, towards capital in projects, building these facilities, buying trucks, or towards acquisitions. I think for us, the advantage is every incremental package that now comes in is highly profitable because we've already sunk these costs. And so over time, we don't think operating cash flows, will continue to suffer. I think we will continue to invest in building capacity, but from an operational standpoint, we'll be profitable.
It's been a little over a year that you've been listed on the bourses. What has being a public company so far taught you?
For us, to be honest, we found that running a public company actually is easier than running a private company in some ways. The biggest message for us has really been, on a regular basis, being able to communicate to a wide group of investors, a very wide group of investors, exactly what our strategy is. So it's forced us to really think about elements that we perhaps in the past had not explained as well. Go out and explain to people why building these kinds of facilities, why buying trucks is important. So our communication's gotten sharper. Our discipline in terms of meeting our quarterly numbers has gotten sharper for sure. We're better at forecasting, which is important in our business.
There is a bevy of PE investors who are looking to, perhaps offload their holding in the company. How do you manage that, or how do you go through those troubles when it has an impact on your share price?
Look, I think our job as the management team really is to build a great company, and that's what we're trying to do, really, right? Some investors will like the story and will buy in. I think there are enough people who we feel are interested in investing in, India's largest logistics company. And our PE investors ultimately, as their horizons end, they may sell the stock at times that they deem fit. We can't do much about it. So we don't think about it too much because it's not something we can control on a regular basis. The share price, how they decide their investment strategies, these are not things that we allow to influence our decision making about the business.
Your father's a finance professor. He watches a lot of CNBC-TV18. So the price of Delhivery, it was offered at a little under 500. Thereafter, it zoomed to a little under 700. Now, as we speak, a little under 400. Those sort of gyrations that we see, how do you keep yourself immune from that? And be honest, that would have affected you at some point, right?
Yeah, look, it's an emotional shock, of course, when you go public. As a private company, you're not used to seeing your company's price go up and down. And of course, it's an emotional shock, right? When the company's price went up, obviously, at that point, we were ecstatic. And then it went down and we were wondering what happened. But as with all things in life, you make your peace with it and you say, look, I'll focus on what I can control. And since you brought up my father, I think one of the things he taught me is that the value of something and the price of something are not always the same. We believe there's value in what we're building, and I think the price over time will reflect that.
So you are sure of the value that Delhivery has to offer,
Yes, we are.
even at the market cap that it currently has, and the potential that there is a lot more. SoftBank wants to exit in the company. So if there is value in it, would you then look at people or would you prop up some other investors around you to go ahead and perhaps purchase that stake?
I think my job is to do the best I can to communicate our strategy, and the investor's job is to decide whether they want to invest or not. So I go out, we meet investors, we tell them what we're doing. We explain to them India's a large market, somebody's going to build a large logistics company. We think we're in pole position. Hopefully they'll invest.
You are a fitness enthusiast. What does, being a triathlete or being in the fitness discipline teach you about business? What inspirations do you take from there?
The thing they say about running is that the hardest part is putting on your shoes. Once you start, it's all easy. I think what it's taught me really, and more people in the company really, we're a fitness addicted company in some ways, is that really the hard part is getting started, right? And after you get started as a company, our logic's simple, don't quit, right? I think India's a long game. Building a company of our size with our vision is going to take time, it's going to take patience. There will be ups and downs, we've had ours. And you just have to stay patient, stay the course, drive straight, and that's what we're trying to do. So stay to the straight and narrow, don't look around, run hard, put your shoes on. I guess that's what we've learned.
Of all the companies that came to the street around you as well, what have you learned from their journeys, and what is it that you respect about them?
I think the biggest thing with Zomato that you have to respect is they were the first company to go public in some sense. They showed the way. courageous move. They went public and Dipinder has talked about the challenges of navigating that period. There's a lot to learn from how they've gone public. I think the manner in which they've chosen to communicate the Zomato story, the way they've made decisions in the last 2 years has been fantastic. And so we do look at them and say, look, what do we need to learn from the guys who came before us? You learn also equivalently from someone like a Nykaa who had, a breakout listing. They've managed being a public company wonderfully. And so we look at the management team, we look at the experience that Mrs. Nair has and say, look, what can we learn from her, the way she manages investors, the way she communicates the story. Yeah, but otherwise, to be honest, every company writes its own story, right? And so will we.
And outside of work, what are the other things that you like dabbling in? Is there any startup that you wish to invest in? Is that something that you do?
Not very actively, to be honest. I work and then I have triathlon, which is 14 hours a week, right? So that doesn't leave me with much time for anything else.
That's wonderful. We won't take much of your time, Sahil. This has been a pleasure.
Lovely to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.